Border Gavaskar Trophy almost on us. Perth, India going in with a 0-3 series loss to New Zealand. It's more in the mind. 2003-4, very similar circumstances. People had written that team off. Sourav's 144 set it up. Again, he was board president the last time round when India had that incredible win. So this is why I thought, who better than to set up this series for us. Thank you very much for your time as always. How do you look at it? I mean, so much negativity. Can India compete? Can India compete? How do you look at it?
I think for me at the moment, India, Australia, India, England away are two of the best series. Best series in world cricket for India. Obviously, Ashes is there, but I think these two series will be keenly watched. And going through the social media, through news and all, I can feel there's a lot of excitement back in Australia, and rightfully so. 5 Test matches. Kohli and Rohit may not be going back to the country again after this. They are 36, 37, so it's going to be a fascinating series, and I'm looking forward to it. I wish I could be there to work on that series, but my other commitments stop me from doing it. And it's going to be a great series, and I'll be up at Perth. I know it's not an early morning wake-up time at Perth, not at 5:30 because of time differences, but it's going to be a great series.
India has a chance?
Of course. I know they didn't play well against New Zealand, and they are responsible for it. They can't play on such pitches. I've said that repeated number of times. When you have the quality of Ashwin, Jadeja, Kuldeep, Akshar, Washington, you don't need pitches which turn square because it takes the batting away. And I presume there's been not a single 100 in that series except the first test. Sarfaraz Khan got 100 in Bangalore. There has been no 100 in the series, and that speaks volumes of how the surface played throughout the test match. And I say that repeatedly. I say that when I was captain, in the middle, when India played with Virat as captain, some of the pitches spun a lot. And I saw this again. And it's going to take the batting away. Batsmen will lose confidence, if they don't score runs, games after games. And I think that's something which Gautam needs to look at and change it. I've always said win test matches in 5 days, not in 3 days. And with Ashwin and Jadeja, test matches change very quickly on day 3, day 4, day 5 in India. It may look flat and nothing happening on day 1, day 2, and then suddenly things start changing. And that's what they should look at. So they're a good side. And I've seen Virat Kohli has landed in Perth early, which is a good sign that he's up and hungry. And it's going to be a fascinating series. A lot of people are saying India will be whitewashed. I don't think so.
When you mentioned Virat Kohli, and great words, by the way, about the pitches and that we should play on good wickets. My reporters are already there, and they said, even in that simulation game at the WACA, Virat got out and then went back to the nets for 2 sessions on his own and then came back and batted again. Clearly there is hunger. And that's why is showing. How do you look when a champion player is kind of being questioned? How do you look at this series for Virat Kohli?
He's a champion player. Obviously his one day numbers are far superior. He's had a fascinating series in 2014. His record in Australia is very good. He's got almost 6 test hundreds in Australia. He's not getting younger. Let's accept that. And the game is different at 28, 29 and 30 and then at 36, 37. But he will be up and ready. He'll be up and ready for the series because he knows. He knows what is in store. He knows he has been successful there in the past. And he will give everything to be successful. He still has the game. There's no question about it. He still has the game and they'll be playing on good pitches. That is the most important thing. And the wickets will be quick. There'll be pace. There'll be bounce. Yes, there'll be early seam movement with the Kookaburra ball. But as the ball gets older and the seam starts going down and the movement reduces and they're good batting wickets. So he will be up and ready and he'll have a good series. I'll be very, very surprised if he doesn't play well. And 5 test matches is a lot, and I think he'll have a good series.
I remember that 2019 day when India was knocked out of the World Cup, and all of us were criticizing Rishabh Pant. You and I went to that Manchester restaurant, and all of a sudden you told me, this guy is your best red ball player. I said, what are you talking about? And you said, mark my words. And I still remember I said, how do you say this? It's true.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on record, it's true. I mean, why did you say it? What you said has come true. Rishabh Pant is India's go-to red ball man. Your thoughts?
It's because of his ability. It's because of his ability. It's because of the way he plays, his performance with the red ball, his numbers in Test cricket away from home, South Africa, England, Australia. I still remember watching him bat at Birmingham when India were 4 down, I think. 3-4 deliveries, he just stepped out and hit Jimmy Anderson into the side screen. That's what his mindset is, and I think he's a special player in red ball cricket. I still feel he's underdone in white ball, and he's got the ability to do even better in white ball, and he needs to understand his game there. But red ball cricket is India's best batsman after Virat Kohli.
Shubman Gill, Yashasvi Jaiswal, and Dhruv Jurel now maybe. Are you worried about the fragility in India's batting to a degree? Because a lot is being said about the fragility.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's fragile. It's Shubman Gill's second trip. He was there in 2021. So 3 years down the line, a lot of maturity, a lot of more cricket. But he's got to bat well. He's a fantastic white ball player. But he's just got to get buckled down in these conditions because he's going to be quick. He's batting at number 3. And the ball's going to swing, seam early on. So he's got to get through that period. It's a big series for him. It's a make or break series for him. I personally believe, as a career-wise and as a reputation-wise, him, Yashasvi, it's going to be a big series for both of them. I hope Rohit Sharma goes very soon because the team needs leadership. I believe his wife's delivered a baby boy a couple of days ago. Yesterday night. So I'm sure he can leave. He can leave as early as possible. And today's what, 16th?
16th.
If I was in his position, he should be playing the Perth Test. We're still on 22nd.
Yeah.
It's a week away. And because it's a big series, he will not go to Australia after this. He's a fantastic captain. India needs his leadership to start with.
You were instrumental in making him Test captain at that point in time.
Yeah,
because he didn't want to.
Yeah, he wasn't because he was captaining every other format. So there was a lot of workload. I don't believe in workload. Test captain of India will always be Test captain of India. And I told him that. I said, don't finish your career not being Test captain of India. I'm not surprised at what he's achieved.
Tell me something. I did not ask you specifically about this guy, KL Rahul. What is KL Rahul's problem? He's got so much talent. Is it in the mind?
Yep, confidence.
How does he sort it?
He has to speak to himself. He has to speak to himself and say, just put everything behind. It's part and parcel of sport. Confidence will go up, will go down, will go up, will go down. You have to bring it back. By working hard in the nets, by being bullish. I know he's gone through a lot. The Lucknow Super Giants has released him. I don't know whether they'll buy him back in the auction. I don't know. I'm sure he'll find a good team and get his worth in the IPL. But these things put pressure on you. In and out of the team, he's seeing young players play well in T20. You see what they've done in South Africa. But then he has to change. He cannot keep playing the same way and expect to get picked all the time because somebody else will come back and get picked. So I think he's got to sit with himself. Get away from everything, get away from all his friends and family and team and IPL owners and IPL auctions and look at the mirror and say, I need to play differently. I need to get tough inside and fight the period. He's got 100 in South Africa last time. They went
excellent
100 in Centurion.
Yeah.
So he can score hundreds in these conditions. But the mind has to believe that and the fight has to be there.
If Rohit doesn't make it to Perth, you would open with KL? Because that's what Gautam said.
Yeah, I think so. And play Dhruv Jurel in the middle.
Dhruv Jurel in the middle order. A word on him. Dhruv Jurel, he looked very good in the...
He's a very good young player. He did very well for the India in Australia. Yeah. So Rahul should open and Dhruv Jurel bats in the middle.
Tell me something. I mean, Mohammad Shami is back for Bengal. He's bowled 20 overs in the first innings, 20 overs in the second innings. Clearly his body held up 4 days, 40 overs. Mushtaq Ali Trophy 4 overs max. Would you send him to Australia straight away and say, come on, go?
Yeah, I will send him to Australia. He doesn't need to play Mushtaq Ali. I'll send him to Australia even if he misses the Perth test and he keeps bowling. He should be on the flight now because he's bowled and he's bowling today as well. I don't know what's the score, but I'm sure he'll bowl another 25-30 overs today in this innings as well. And he should be on the next flight to Australia. He may miss the Perth test because that will be bowling friendly conditions in Shiraz and Bumrah and Akashdeep and Prasidh. I think Prasidh will play ahead of Akashdeep. So because of the height and the bounce in these conditions, he should be on the flight and should be ready to play the Adelaide test.
Tough question. 3 spinners, but Nitish Reddy or Ashwin, Jadeja, Sundar.
You play your best spinner.
Ashwin has always been at the receiving end.
No. 550 test wickets. How can he be at the receiving end? He's a fantastic cricketer. He is my first spinner. He should be the only spinner in Perth. India must play fast bowling. I know Jadeja is there. You get Jadeja's batting. But pick your best batter, pick your best spinner and pick your best fast bowlers and play against Australia.
Without Shami, is this bowling underdone?
No. Little bit weakened. Because Bumrah, Shami, Shiraz is stronger than Bumrah, Shiraz and Prasidh. Definitely stronger. But fast bowlers get injured. You can't do anything about it. Maybe it's Prasidh's store. He stays fit and goes through 5 test matches, which is a lot of test matches.
Because you will also need work.
Mohammad Shami needs to be on the flight.
There's so much talk.
Also, before I conclude, Mukesh Kumar.
Yeah, he's part of the tour. Mohammad Shami school of bowling.
Every time you give him opportunity, he picks wickets. He got 6 wickets in the India A squad.
Yeah.
I've seen him play for Delhi. Every time you've put the ball with him under pressure in the last over, he's won every game for Delhi. That speaks a volume of his character. So he's one of my candidates to be on the trip as well. He is, but he's not in the squad.
Without being critical, does Sarfaraz Khan have the ability to be successful in Australia?
You cannot pass judgments without giving opportunities.
So he should be given.
Yeah, of course, give him so much runs at domestic level. The only person to get 100 in this
New Zealand series,
in this tough series. So you have to give him that opportunity.
Gautam Gambhir under so much flack already after one series, right? People say IPL and you've given him the coaching op. India will always question you. India coaching job, captaincy, BCCI, everything will be questioned. A word on that? Because we get to judgments very quickly.
Let him be. I saw some criticism on what he said on the press conference. That's the way he is. Let him be. When he won the IPL, he was the same and you were going gaga over him. Just because he's lost 3 test matches and a one-day series against Sri Lanka, the same thing is not been looked nicely. But that's the way it is. And why not? Australians, from the time I've watched cricket, they've been tough on you. They've played their cricket that way, whether it's Waugh, whether it's Ponting, whether it's Hayden, the current crop is a bit more soft because of IPL and their friendships in IPL. But the Australians have played it that way, tough, hard cricket. So there's nothing wrong with Gambhir. That's the way it is, and he fights, he competes, and let him be and give him a chance. 2 months you're putting a judgment on him.
And if you see already, the Australians have started Tim Payne saying Gautam Gambhir is prickly, Ricky Ponting, Gautam Gambhir is prickly. They will go after him. So what's the problem if he says something?
No problem. Let him say, go and play the game. That's the way it is. That's the way these tours are, and it has happened from ages with Australian cricket. That makes this series even more competitive and even more followed by people. So let it be. I think just let Gambhir, give him a chance. You've given him a job. In 2 months, you can't pass a judgment. I know the next 9 months will be very hard for him. 5 test matches in Australia.
England also.
Champions Trophy, 5 test matches in England. It'll decide Gambhir. Either way, it'll decide Gambhir. So from my point of view, give him a chance. Don't be too hard on him.
Final question on Border Gavaskar Trophy, because before I ask a couple on the IPL auction, just with Bumrah, how important is going to be?
Very. Best bowler. Very, very, very important.
As leader in the pack,
He'll do well as a captain. I think.
You reckon he?
Yes, because what he does under pressure with the white ball speaks volumes of what he thinks, how he executes, and what goes on in the head. So I think he'll do well.
Couple of days later, IPL auction. You will wear a different hat. JSW head of cricket plus Delhi Capitals. Yes, you're not. I mean, there's a team this time round. I'm not going into that. But thoughts on the IPL auction? Excited about it?
Yeah.
Because it has a different dynamic.
I was in a proper auction in 2019 when we picked a side and which did well in 3 years after that. Then I became board president. Was never a part of a full auction. This time although we'll only be restricted to the auction. Because there's a coach and there is a director of cricket and there's a bowling coach who will execute it on the field. But I think auction is the most important part of IPL. Once you get your team right, it's not going to be easy because 10 teams, players, everybody will be wanting players. Auctions are never easy, but if you get your team right, I think that's 60% of the battle.
Tell me something, when it goes up and the volume is going up, 25 lakhs and your purse is shrinking. Can you give me a sense?
It's pressure time. You have to take a call on the table, how far to go, how far not to go.
I mean, how is it? I mean, I'm not saying about a specific player, but...
It is, that's the way it is for everyone. So, it is important to build the core and then keep players around that. That's the crux of the matter.
Prediction for Border Gavaskar Trophy. People are saying lots of things.
Last 2 series, India has won. India beat Australia without Virat Kohli, without Jasprit Bumrah, without Ravichandran Ashwin in Brisbane. This country has too much talent, so don't rule them out.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic, candid interview. If you really look at it, words on Rohit, words on Virat, KL Rahul, Jasprit Bumrah, Dhruv Jurel, Gautam Gambhir, on every person who matters, Sourav has completely sort of opened up and spoken. One of the most candid interviews that I've done in the recent past with him. Thank you very much for your time. You look leaner. Good to see you like this. As I said the other day, 41 endorsements at this age. Give me some. Back RevSportz, you already do. Never taken a penny from any one of us ever for any time that he's kind of come to our conclaves. But that's why he's always Bengali favorite, Indian favorite of all time. Thank you very much for your time.